I want to thank all of you for journeying with me this far already, for watching the steps I've tread further and further into the darkness while trying to answer this occult mystery, and better understand the full breadth of my ancestors' legacy. What I'll be showing you tonight is where things took their most dramatic turn yet, spearheading me as deep into the world of occult knowledge as just about anyone has ever known. But even after all this, things were still very far from over.
Okay, well, this certainly is not creepy at all. Yeah. If you don't know, if you're just starting with this video, I inherited this house from my estranged grandmother, and I found notes and journals from her father about some kind of important family stuff down here. Okay, around that corner, finding some older, some kind of broken vase, some kind of fucking cauldron, and oh shit, holy shit. Okay, it is here. It is here. Just like my fucking great grandfather said in his journals. Holy shit. Okay. Well, now's the fun part. Okay, I am working on getting that thing out of there, but it is not easy. It's heavy as shit, and there's pipes that I need to get it over that I don't want to break, so I'm going to continue moving it bit at a time, coming out, taking a break. I don't know when I'm going to get this thing out, but I'm going to get it out. Probably won't be finished until sometime tomorrow, so I'll update you guys when I can. Alright, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. I got the trunk out. I have it here. Have not opened it yet. Still unsure what I should do in that regard. Here, I'll just show you what I took after getting it out. Alright, here it is. It was an unbelievable son of a bitch to get out, and it is incredibly dusty. Probably not that surprising. A lot of people are saying they don't think I should open it. I haven't tried yet, but I don't know. I'm still kind of debating it. You can see there's a cross here. There's some other symbols. Looks like a pentagram. Something here, I'm not sure. This looks like the symbol for male. I don't know why that would be on there. This looks like something Egyptian. This, I have no idea what that is. This, I think, is like a Star of David. And over here, again, don't know what it is. It looks kind of like what's on the fence. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Getting this thing out was a real pain in the ass, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I open it? Should I wait? You guys tell me in the comments. So I've got a circle of salt. I've got white candles burning. I couldn't get this thing outside. Did not have a white sheet. I'm just trying to take some of the precautions you guys were mentioning. It's time to open this thing. Okay. Got this key. Let's see if it will open this lock. Oh, yep. Okay. Whew. Opening this thing for the first time. I'm hoping whatever sigils are on here are still good. Okay, here we go. Okay. No dead body. That's a good that's a good start. Look at, oh shit. Wow. Okay, there's old journals, books, some papers, the sword. Let's see this thing. Holy shit. Take a look at this. This thing is heavy as heck. Like a skull of some kind. there's more boxes in here. Yeah, all kinds of little boxes. What this is? Some kind of bottle. This all seems really kind of tightly packed in here so that it wouldn't bump around too much. Whoa. This looks like something to carve a turkey, but it's got like some kind of antler. Okay, this is the biggest of those boxes. Let's open it and see what's in it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, this is a stone cross. Oh, my, I don't even want to touch this. This, I mean, that looks like a vampire hunter's kit. That looks like a fucking vampire hunter's kit. I have not heard anything about vampires through all this. You know, I'm not ready to believe in vampires yet, but that is a vampire hunter's kit. Okay, this is the next biggest box that was in here. Dusty. Okay. A photo of a nun. Photo of a priest. Oh, shit. And what looks like a bunch of stuff for an exorcism. Looked through the books and look what I found. Malleus Maleficarum. Just like we thought. The witch hammer. Sorry to say this is definitely going to take multiple parts. I will try to keep these coming, but I don't even know what to say, so. Alright, sorry for breaking the circle. I don't really know a lot about that kind of stuff, but I have looked through a lot of this stuff inside the circle, and while specifically this box here, I'm not going to take that out. I might try to figure out a way to show later, but I get a feeling that's really bad stuff. I don't think you can see it on the camera because it's kind of warm, but there is an X drawn on it. But I'm going to show you a couple things that I think are okay to bring out, or at least a little bit, so here we go. Okay, now this box here may very well be the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my life. It is a big-ass dagger knife of some kind, and an old, like, 1800s revolver, and 6 bullets that look like they're made of silver. I don't know, just, yeah, there you go. Okay, this box looks a good amount newer than the other ones, but still really old. I don't really know what it's for. Inside, it has this bottle of, like, really old dried herbs of some kind. A bell. These rocks that, like, each one of them that I've looked at has, like, a hole going through it. Like, if you look at a couple more of these, they've got, like, holes. This one's kind of broken, but it looks like it had a hole. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. There's rusted metal. Different kinds of rusted metal. I don't know. Another thing that stands out just really strange is this really old-looking clock. And whatever kind of bell or thing there is in it, I can hear it ringing just from moving it still. Like, it keeps going, and I'm gonna give you a better look. This thing. I don't really know anything about it. I also found a bunch of different strange bottles. Some of them have liquids of different kind of colors in them. Some of them seem empty and they're like weird, like they're colored themselves. This one has like some little teeth in it. I'm not taking any of those out of the circle because they do just seem like weird things, so I'm going to go ahead and leave them there. These look like some kind of religious, I don't know, candle holders. I don't know if they're special at all. I just have no idea what they are, and you guys have always been really good at figuring stuff out and telling me what it is, so there you go. Then this skull looks to me like a wolf skull or something like that. That's another thing that I'm not really an expert on, so you guys tell me. That's probably going to be all for tonight, but I'll try to get you guys more as soon as possible. Sorry it's been a little bit since that last update, but you know, going up nearly 30,000 followers in one day is pretty stressful in a way that's a little bit difficult to explain. Also have to do my regular father stuff, and there's one thing before I jump back into something from the trunk. I'm going to go into the papers, some of the papers today. I know you guys are really interested in that, but I want to dispel something real quick. I tag witch talk in a lot of my posts, and the vast majority of the comments I get from people there are extremely positive and very cool. But, every now and then I keep getting these things, people who jump in and watch one little part of a video with no context, and are like, oh, okay, your ancestors were witch killers. They indiscriminately killed my ancestors. And, I'm not going to deny that the church was involved in that kind of stuff, but from what I have found, and, if this kind of practitioner of magical stuff if it's real, I know enough about human nature to know that some of the people who do it are bad. Because some of every kind of person you can imagine are bad. The only thing I've seen to indicate is that if somebody was harming people with it, then they were, somebody that my family might go after. I also know for sure that my great-grandfather, Leo, worked with an indigenous medicine woman and consulted what he called a white witch. So he was not just some crazy witch hunter. I just really had to dispel that, sorry. Now, this is just part of what I'm going to show you. I have my gloves on, unfortunately the only gloves I have. Some of this is handwritten. Some of this is typed. The pages are in much better shape than the ones from the lockbox, because these were in that trunk, I think, since 100 years ago. They've just been sitting in there, still kind of aged. But these are just a fraction of the papers that are in there like this. I didn't want to take them all out at once. And there's so much information in them that, I'm going to have to sift through this a lot before I can really go into detail with stuff, but I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little breakdown of what I do know so far. So these papers are about Harold Oldry. He was Leo's grandfather, so that would make him my great-great-great-grandfather. Seems he was mostly active in the 1860s and 70s. I know for a fact from looking at this that he was not what you would call just like a fall-in-line Catholic soldier. He butted heads quite significantly. He worked with a druid whose name was Bridget. I don't know where that ties in with all this other Bridget stuff, but I do know that he actually, from what I've read so far, broke her out of a prison that the church ran. Basically, they had her locked up for witchcraft, and he broke her out. I don't know exactly what the specifics of that all were. I'm trying to still chase down what's in there and find out all the information, but I'll get it to you when I have it. Okay, so I'm jumping more into these papers and notebooks today because, honestly, I'm completely enveloped. It is unbelievably interesting. I will go back into the trunk soon. There's a couple things in there I'm a little leery about going into for different reasons. I'll look into some more protections first, but I promise you will see more of that stuff. Now, things from these papers are getting even wilder than the stuff that I've already found. So, try to bear with me. If you can't deal with stuff that's really crazy, just scroll on because it's going to be hard to believe some of this stuff. Okay, so these journals did belong to Harold. His handwriting was pretty bad, even for the era, but it's some amazing stuff. These notes are from a nun who worked with him. She refers herself as Sister Helena. It seemed that I don't know if secretary is the right word, but basically at some point she kind of took over as an assistant for him, who took a lot of notes for him and kind of kept some things in line. I have more of these mission reports from the Sons of Man relating to him. One of them is specifically about him. One of them is not, but it relates heavily to what I'm finding in these papers, and I just want to show you. It's pretty incredible. This first one is another mission report with reporting officer Harold Oldry. This one says lycanthropy outbreak. It says it's in Fraudland, Thurgau, Switzerland, September 8th through October 14th. It does not give a year. Again, printed on order of the Holy See and the same emblem. This other one is a post-exorcism report. It's stamped anomalous, and it was not overseen by Harold. It says Father Gregory Schneider, who I believe was referenced in an earlier note. But this possession exorcism of a Melinda Kruger is vitally important to the other information I found, and I'll explain it to you. So based on what I found, this little girl, Melinda, was possessed after an encounter with a bad witch of some kind. They were not able to get the demon out of her. They were bringing in this guy, Gregory Schneider, Father Gregory Schneider, to handle it. Harold seemed to think that it was going to result in an execution of the girl. He didn't believe that they were, like, he felt like they were going to fail and then just give up. So that is when he broke Bridget out from imprisonment, because I guess he went in and talked to her and believed that she could help to get the demon out. He broke her out. They successfully exorcised the demon, and then they took off. And I'm trying to find out what happened next, but there's a lot of stuff to get through. It seems that even Harold was not the first one doing this kind of stuff. He had kind of a pedigree and a really good reputation, and so he was very bold. I don't know. I'm going to find out more and get it to you guys. Alright, so I'm going to jump into something else really cool from the trunk today, but before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about something else that's getting brought up a lot. I've mentioned a few times that I am writing all this down into a book. If you see my bio, you know that I'm an author. I only have the one short story up right now. I have a completed novel that I've been shopping around, but it's not anything like any of these kind of stories, more of an epic fantasy kind of thing. But I've been writing this as like a first-person investigative memoir, which is well outside the wheelhouse of what I'm used to. You know, like I said, I write third-person, past-tense narrative fiction. That's what I've practiced, that's what I've learned, that's what I'm good at. And while I do still completely intend to release this investigative memoir style of book, it is a little bit more slow-going. And after everything I've been looking into and reading, I've got another idea I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to run it past you guys. While my great-grandfather Leopold is still an incredible person, incredible character to write about, Harold, his grandfather, is just blowing my mind with every single word that I read. And it seems to me like it would make, you know, a much more interesting story and the kind of story that I'm more accustomed to telling and writing. So with that said, I think that I could work much quicker and produce something sooner for you guys working in that. I'm going to try, and what I'm going to do is I'm reading everything I can from these journals and these notes about Harold, about his exploits, and I'm basically just going to put it down as a third-person narrative, like I write always. You know, I'll have to fill in some blanks doing it that way, and I hope you don't mind. You know, I'm a pretty creative person. I'm going to fill in the blanks with what I've learned, with what I know, and, you know, some of it will just be fictionalized, and, you know, but it's based on the things that I found in the trunk, and I'm going to stick with the storyline that seems to be going on through there. Okay, inside of this container, I've read a lot from the notes. I feel safe taking it out. I was nervous at first because what's inside of it is wrapped in a cloth, but after reading, I have a pretty good idea what it is, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so according to Harold's journal and Helena's notes, this weapon is referred to as the Hansa blade. It's associated with the Hamsa, like that was the symbol with the eye on the trunk, the protection symbol you guys told me. This was apparently their go-for-broke type weapon. You know, if nothing else in the trunk would work, they would try this. And it seems most of the time it would work. It could kill a lot of things. It seems, they say it has some kind of magical properties. Obviously, I can't confirm the truth of that. I can just tell you what I read. So, there you go. That is all for now, but as always, check back soon, because there'll definitely be more. Okay, it's been kind of a busy day today, and I am about to go and see the Eternals, so I'm just going to crank this one out pretty quick. Just a couple things to go over with you guys. A lot of you are asking about the activity in the house, if it's kicked up, if there's been anything specifically since opening up the trunk. And I mentioned a little before that, you know, there was just small things every now and then, nothing dramatic, nothing caught on my phone. But honestly, it's gotten even lower. It's dropped. There's really been nothing. What I assume is that, you know, most of the activity seemed to be trying to point me towards getting that trunk. I've gotten it. I've done what it seems like they wanted. So for now, at least, they're being pretty quiet. That's just what I guess. I also have not had the dream again yet, and I have not found Frogette, but I really haven't looked for her again since that last time, so I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Another thing, I wanted to explain what I meant when I was talking about fictionalizing some of the elements of this for the book. And what I just mean by that is, like, I really want to write the story of Harold. But, for example, I don't know what specifically the conversation between him and Bridget was before he broke her out. I don't know exactly what happened in the room with Melinda. I don't know what they were talking about when they took off, although I do have a better idea now of where they went. I'm still digging through that. So, you know, as a writer, you know, I do want to get all this out for you, and like I said, I am absolutely also going to do the book that is just a straight investigation memoir of the stuff that I've been finding from my perspective. But what I'm really drawn to do right now is to write Harold's story, and to write it the way that I write stories, in the third person. And, you know, those conversations, those things that I don't know, I'm just going to fill them in myself. I want to write a book. It's got my name on it. I want to write something that is going to be entertaining and valued to people that maybe are not invested in this TikTok already. The last thing I wanted to bring up was something about my short story that's on Amazon. You know, the link is in my bio. It's not really, well, I never really thought of it as related to any of this kind of stuff. It is based on a fairy tale that my grandmother told me when I was really little, like 4 years old. I made it my own, you know, I created a story out of it. But, you know, now that I know what I know, I do see some parallels to the story she told me, because what it is basically a story about an ex-berserker Viking who is like a mercenary and gets hired to, you know, save some kids who were taken by trolls. Throughout the process, I don't want to give away too much, but he basically becomes a troll hunter, you know, from these experiences. So something, you know, hunting monsters, story my grandma told me, and I don't know, it just seems like a cool link there now. So if you guys are interested in that, you know, some of you have mentioned it, I really appreciate it. I know some of you have bought it already, but you can check it out. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's already free, so. I'm going to take a quick look back in the chest before we get into something else. So I do want to give you guys another quick look into the actual chest itself and go on a couple of the things that I haven't really gotten into yet. This thing, I don't know, this just looks very mundane, so I didn't really talk about it. There's a picture in here of somebody. I don't know if this, oh, the glass is broken. I don't know if that's Harold. I don't know, it's somebody. Now, there is also what looks like, yeah, it's part of a lamp. It does not have that top part. I'm assuming the open flame went along with whatever this was supposed to heat up. There's more papers and envelopes, but it looks like they weren't used. They were just being stored in case they were going to be used. Yeah, now this box here, I think you can see that X a little bit. Some of you guys are asking me, like, why I wouldn't go into this one. If you recall from earlier in the journal from Leo, he mentions that the containment of, like, dark items box needed to be, like, reinforced. So I'm assuming that's what this is, and I like I said, I just get a really bad feeling from it, and I will not be going into it until I figure out a way to maybe make it a little safer. Now, there is also this thing, which obviously looks like, I don't know, it's not really bloody, but it's weird that it looks this way, and it's in here. And then there's this compass that does not work anymore. I also wanted to add that I have not heard back from those people who were, you know, the block calls that were calling and talking about purchasing things. I've shown a lot more things now, and I haven't heard word. So, you know, that's kind of troubling in its own way. I guess maybe talking about recording their calls scared them off a little bit, but I'll just go ahead and say I was not really planning to sell them anything. I just really kind of wanted to feel them out, get a better idea of who they were, what they knew. You know, maybe I could get some information out of them. I don't know, because like I have the stuff that I found, but I'm still pretty lost in all this. For those of you who are concerned, because I know a lot of you have mentioned it, I am taking extra precautions. I make sure the house is very securely locked every night. You know, we have Summer here, who is an excellent guard dog. Anybody comes near the house, she starts going crazy. So I don't know. I have the means to protect my family, and I think we're okay. You know, I get the feeling that whoever maybe wants these things, if they're who I think they might be, that they have more than enough money to try to do it that way, rather than try to, you know, use violence. So we'll see. If I hear from them again, like I told you guys, you'll know about it. Treat for everybody, a second video today, because Melissa is asleep early and I have got way too much on my mind. So basically every free moment that I have, which really isn't all that many, but they've all been dedicated to reading through these journals and these papers, and I'm getting more of a complete picture on Harold's story, and it like I said before, it just keeps blowing my mind every time. I've mentioned that he, you know what you know already, he was working for this group called the Sons of Man, some kind of, you know, army that fights the supernatural, that was run by the Catholic Church, or was part of the Catholic Church, I'm not sure. he was kind of like a rebel. You know, he wasn't the guy who just listened to everything they said. I've come to find that he was actually a third generation member. He was born into it. That means his father and grandfather served in the same organization, and apparently that was pretty rare. I guess not a lot of people necessarily wanted that life for their kids, but it just gets even more incredible from there. Now, this next part sounds so crazy that it sounded like something out of Dungeons and Dragons. I actually had to look up the word paladin because I thought that it was something made up by Dungeons and Dragons, but apparently it's something that dates back to the 12th century. Now, it looks like in this group, the Sons of Man, they had special soldiers that they called Blessed Paladins, and this is another one of those times where, like, if you can't really glob onto something outlandish here, just keep scrolling, because apparently they had like some kind of blessed abilities. Like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it was something so dramatic, but at least they believed that basically these guys were souped up by prayer, and you could send like one of them in to fight a monster or a vampire, whatever, and he could just take it out by himself. It seems that Harold was one of those for a time and then lost the ability somehow. Now, I don't know if this was some kind of drugs, or just something that they believed, or some kind of psychosis, or if it was some kind of real magic. I have no idea. But that is what they believed, that is what they claimed. It seems that at least his father was one of those as well. And whatever, something happened, and then he couldn't do it anymore. Harold, he just couldn't do it anymore. And that is when he transitioned into something more of like, kind of like a hunter/soldier. You know, using the kind of stuff that I found in the box. Talking about the origin of the word paladin, I'll pull it up again here. It does go back to Charlemagne and the knights who fought under him, which goes back to Roland, which we talked about before, and the cross, that stone cross, I think that was in the vampire hunter case. Yeah, so this stuff is really tying together.
I've already began the process of transcribing these writings into a coherent narrative. The first book was published in October, with the next one coming this fall. I'll finish tonight with a small teaser for that story. For those who want to dive right in, you can find it on my channel's profile.
A novel about secret occult history, written from uncovered family documents. In the mid-19th century, there lived a man by the name of Harold Oldry. Perhaps the greatest monster hunter of all time. The heir to a line of paladin knights, all serving in a clandestine Catholic order of hunters and exorcists that stretched back to the Crusades. In his pursuit of a demonic specter known as the Burned Woman, Harold's church superiors ignored his belief that she meant to reenact the 10th plague of Egypt. His only possible ally was a Celtic witch, deeply connected to the druid magic of her ancestors. But she was held prisoner in his order's dungeon for the lies believed about her people. With no other options, Harold elected to break the witch, named Bridget, free from her cell, and they fled the church order, trekking together through the wilderness, eventually receiving aid from an unfulfilled nun, the fey beings of Bridget's religion. And old church allies still loyal to Harold, the group pressed for the mythic Blacala Island, where it is said the devil holds court. Here they would face satanic cultists, summoned demons, infernal hybrids of men and devils, and the Dark One himself. The old breed, Haxan,